Hello, my name is Christopher Fish, and this is my first attempt at probe number one, hopefully last one. For this probe, I'm going to be talking about my performance before the pandemic and then during the pandemic. And a big part of before the pandemic, I was still in the military, so a lot of my performance was based on how I acted in the military compared to now. So every day when I'd warm up or get ready behind screen or backstage, before the pandemic, most days were work days. So I'd make sure to get dressed up in my ABUs or my uniform, and I'd get dressed. I'd make sure that my hair was shorter. I wasn't allowed to have facial hair back then, and I'd go ahead and text whoever was at work and start getting prepared for the day, because most of the time it was usually 12-hour days, so I needed to have an idea of what I was doing or what I was walking into. Compared to now, warming up is pretty nice. I just got to get ready for class, so I usually check my notes or my homework. I usually brush my teeth. I brush my teeth in the military as well, but I usually comb my hair back, same, but I get a lot less work now compared to before. I had to shave every day before, and I had to keep my hair short. And there's a lot less less thinking, but more like instead of focusing super hard on what I'm going to have to do for going to school and how long I'm going to be there, it's more my schedule compared to before. I had to be on working time. I had to do all that. And then usually driving to work is usually the same commute time for either or. So I was able to get in my act of being a good citizen, following the speed limit, because I never speed. Comparative before the pandemic to now, I definitely changed the way I talk to people. I used to be a lot more communicative, or it might just be because I'm out of the Air Force. But before, I would usually go talk to everybody at my work, everyone in different sections, and get to know them, figure out what we're doing, how we're doing, how they're doing. There'd be lines between people, everybody would curse at each other in a joking way, but it was all it'd be set lines. I'd walk into the room, someone would call me a son of a blank, and I'd be like, oh, yeah, it's the big man's. Well, compared to now, I don't really talk to people as much anymore, especially with the mask on. And post-pandemic, we're still in it, and I don't usually talk nearly as much, and when I do, it's usually more in a social environment. I really don't. It feels weird to talk to people with masks on, I guess, or if that makes sense. Yeah, so I just follow the set lines now, and more good morning, how are you doing? It might be just because before I was in a military environment where we were all kind of close to each other. I've been stuck on 12-hour shifts with these guys for a long time before transitioning over to college, so I might just be needing to get over the nerves of talking to other people. Looking over at my notes for rehearse script, props, sets. The sets are completely different now. Before I was working on a flight line, and I was working on aircraft. During the pandemic, we had to wear masks, or before the pandemic, we didn't have to wear masks. And then here, it's a whole different environment. I get to be out of the cold weather. I get to be in a nice classroom. I get to hang out with my teachers and all that in regards. Yeah. So for pre-COVID to post-COVID, or during COVID, there's some things I'm enjoying about COVID just because I'm not in the military anymore, but other things I'm not. It feels like I'm a little bit more socially isolated in that regard, so my performances are a little less based, if that makes sense. I don't really talk to my fellow classmates as much as I'd like to compared to before, because I think it's more the mask and just breaking out of my shell. And that's my probe one. Hopefully first and only recording. Have a good day.